Stop. Is upsizing your Austin home a $100,000 mistake? If you're sitting in your starter home here in Austin, Texas, thinking about upgrading to something bigger, I need you to pay attention to this number. Going from a 3% mortgage to a 5% or 6% mortgage could cost you $50,000 or more over just the next few years. And a lot of people are making this decision right now without running the math. So if you're thinking about upsizing because you need more space for the growing family or you want to get into a better school district, this video is going to walk you through real scenarios for upsizing your home in Austin, show you the actual numbers, and give you a framework to decide if upsizing in 2026 makes sense or completely ruins your finances. If this is your first time here, my name is William Zhang, and I am a real estate agent here in Austin, Texas. If you're looking to understand more about whether upsize could work for your particular situation, feel free to schedule a call with me using the link down below. Now, before we get into the math, let's talk about who should even be thinking about upsizing in 2026. The most obvious group is growing families who need more bedrooms, home office space, or better school districts. And here in Austin, the typical upsize profile looks like this. You bought a condo or a small 2 or 3 bedroom home in 2020 at a 3% rate. Now you have a growing family or your living situation has changed with more people living with you than before. And you need to move to suburbs like Leander, Cedar Park, Georgetown, or Round Rock for space and schools. So let me give you a real client scenario. I worked with a young couple who locked in at 2.75% on a $400,000 home in South Austin. Now they're looking at a $600,000 home in Round Rock with a 5.5% rate. Their monthly payment on the old home was around $2,000. The new home at $600,000 with 5.5% puts them at $3,900 per month. That's a $1,900 jump every single month. And over 5 years, that's $110,000 in extra payments. But at the same time, they're building equity in a bigger home, they're in a top-rated school district, and they have the space they need for 2 kiddos and a home office. The second group who should consider upsizing is remote workers or dual-income households who can afford the jump and want to settle long-term in top-rated school districts. And I get it. A lot of people are scared to give up their low rate. That fear is valid, but staying put has costs too. You're outgrowing the space, you might have long commutes if you move jobs, and you're missing the best inventory in suburbs that are growing fast. Now let me add in the other costs when upsizing. You have moving expenses. You might need to do repairs on your old home before you sell it. You are going to pay around 6% in fees to sell your current home. Other costs like closing fees for buyers, title insurance, everything added up can be around 10% of the price of the home. It's definitely something to consider calculating the cost. But there are also benefits of upsizing. Here's another client scenario. I worked with a family who had $100,000 in equity in their current home. They rolled it into a $600,000 purchase in Georgetown with 10% down. Their monthly payment went from $1,640 to $3,200 when you factor in the mortgage, taxes, and insurance. But they're building equity in a bigger home. They're in a top-rated school district, and their kids are in walking distance to great schools. They are now planning to stay at this home for the next 10 to 15 years because the schools are all taken care of for the next decade or so. The cash flow still worked because both parents had stable remote jobs and their combined income was over $150,000. Now here's the thing. Yes, you're paying more, but you're also getting a bigger home, better schools, and potentially more long-term appreciation in high-growth suburbs like Leander and Round Rock. These areas are growing fast, and home values in Cedar Park and Georgetown have been appreciating at 4% to 6% per year over the last few years. And when upsizing in 2026, you have to also consider the market condition. We are in a buyer's market right now. When you are selling your home, you have to take into account the amount of time your home may sit on the market and the price buyers are willing to pay. My recommendation to clients currently are price it right on the first try or expect the home to sit or eventually sell for less than it's worth. Try to get the money back on the purchase of the new house. One type of home that I think are a steal right now are new construction homes because oversupply of new homes in Austin areas builder are offering incentives and rate buy downs that can change everything. And that's what we need to talk about next. So now let me give you a framework to decide if upsizing in 2026 makes sense for you. The first thing you need to do is compare your current cost of ownership to the new cost. Take your entire mortgage on your current home, then compare that to what you'd be paying on the new home. Factor in lifestyle value and equity building over 5 years. Now here's the break-even math. If you plan to stay in the new home for at least 5 years, the equity you build and the appreciation in suburbs like Cedar Park or Round Rock often offset the higher payment. Home values in these areas have been growing at 4% to 6% per year. So a $600,000 home could be worth $750,000 to $800,000 in 5 years. And you're building equity every month through your mortgage payments. But here's where builder incentives make a huge difference. A few builders in Leander and Georgetown are offering 2-to-1 rate buydowns, $10,000 to $20,000 in closing cost credits and upgrades. A 2-1 buydown means your rate is 2% below market in year 1, 1% below market in year 2, and then it jumps to the full rate in year 3. So if market rates are 5.5%, you're paying 3.5% in year 1 and 4.5% in year 2. That drops your effective monthly payment to something comparable to your current home for the first 2 years. And buying new with incentives means you avoid repair costs. You get energy-efficient homes with lower utility bills, and you lock in a predictable payment structure. A lot of my clients who bought new in 2024 and 2025 are saving $200 to $300 per month on utilities compared to older homes. Now let's talk about the alternative, staying put in your current home. And there are real pros to this strategy. The biggest one is you save a ton of money by keeping your 3% mortgage. That $1,900 per month difference we talked about earlier adds up to over $100,000 over 5 years. You avoid the 10% transaction costs of selling and buying, and you have predictable monthly payments without stretching your budget. But here are the cons. You're missing out on some of the best deals and opportunities to upsize at a great price. Right now, we're in a buyer's market with builder incentives that won't last forever. Those 2-to-1 rate buydowns and $20,000 closing cost credits are only available because of oversupply. And home prices in suburbs like Cedar Park and Round Rock are still below their peak. If you wait until rates drop to 4% or 5%, everyone else will be competing for the same homes and prices will jump. And if rates don't drop below 5% until 2027 or later, you've lost 2 years of building equity in a bigger home. Your kids are still in the wrong school district, and you're still dealing with the space issues that made you think about upsizing in the first place. So here's the decision tree. If you have growing needs for more space, have a strong income, and you can find a builder offering rate buydowns, upsizing now makes sense. If you're stretching to afford it, or you plan to move again in 3 years, stay put and wait. If you want access to new homes with incredible rate buydown incentives that can give you mortgages as low as 2.99% for the first year, you can use the link below to access that list. If you are interested in getting a personalized consultation and have me run the numbers for you to see if upsizing makes sense, you can schedule a call using the link down below. Upsizing in 2026 can cost you $100,000 or more if you ignore the math, but with builder incentives and the right strategy, it's one of the smartest moves for growing families here in Austin, Texas. Run the numbers on your current home versus the suburbs. Factor in schools and commute. And don't be afraid to negotiate with builders for rate buydowns. If you have any questions, I'm here to help. You can reach out to me using the number down below. I look forward to hearing from you. Call me, text me, email me, and if you want to know the top 9 Austin, Texas suburbs to move to in 2026, you can watch this next video.